right. Get a live video going here, guys. I do want to say really quick, it's been a really busy day for Culture Shock already. There's always so much going on, and we love to be part of it. I just want to say a super special thank you to Ian Moore and his band, who stopped in. They're on tour right now. They're from Seattle, touring across the country, and they stopped in to do a little acoustic set, well, a stripped down set with us today. They're playing at Mary's Place here in a while, so when we're done with our live video, that's where we're going. That's where you should go. Check him out, really awesome guy. Did a really cool Hendrix cover song today too. Of course, they're from Seattle, the land of Jimi Hendrix. Of course, more huge news going on this weekend here at Culture Shock. Birthday number 12. We are turning 12 years old. I can't believe that we've been open for 12 years already. I have noticed some gray or white or blonde hairs coming into my beard. Must be getting older. But we have a lot to celebrate though, besides just we're turning 12. It's a huge appreciation sale going on. We're going to have tents outside with some sale items. Live music, of course, from Espinosa and Coffee and our friends in the band Tundras. They're playing at 7 p.m. to headline the night. Espinosa and Coffee's at noon. Prairie Street Brewing's going to be here. We're going to be doing some drinking with them. We're going to have some local beer and root beer. So please check it out. It's all day Saturday at Culture Shock from 10 a.m. till 8 or 9 p.m. or whenever the party closes up. So please come out to our anniversary party this Saturday. I am getting ready here for our episode 3 of our Vinyl Happy Hour. So I want to know who's watching us live right now. If you're watching us live throughout this video, just type hi in the comments. Say hello to us so we know. If you're going to be watching this on a replay later on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, anywhere, just type the letter R for the repeat viewing. And any other comments you have, please let us know what you're thinking. If you have comments on anything we're talking about, we'd love to hear what you have to say. But definitely give us a thumbs up too if you like what we're doing, or if you know these bands or have these albums too, just give us a thumbs up. Lauren's going to be here during the live video also checking comments and engaging with you guys. So for Vinyl Happy Hour, we are doing, well, welcome again if you're just now getting in. I'm Skylar from Culture Shock Clothing and Records here in Rockford, Illinois. This is episode 3 of Vinyl Happy Hour, so welcome. Thanks for checking it out. We are doing this because every week there are so many different releases from different record labels and artists that it can be frustrating for record collectors when they're shopping. So join us every Thursday for a drink as we feature some different albums and a drink that we think you should know about so you can feel educated and confident when you're shopping at your favorite local record store. For Vinyl Happy Hour, it looks like I'm going to be finishing off this bottle of Wyoming Whiskey. What's special about this is it's a private stock bourbon whiskey. It's from a single barrel too, so it's not been blended with a bunch of other barrels, and it was hand-picked and sold to Cork Keg and Spirits here in Rockford, Illinois, from one barrel. And this was a gift from my sister-in-law a couple Christmases ago. It's been very delicious. There's even a tiny little piece of wrapping paper still stuck to the bottle. What's different about this is obviously most bourbon we know comes from Kentucky. But there is a lot of ancient limestone water and stuff like that in Wyoming and in the West. So that affects how they distill their bourbon and whiskey there too. And the temperatures are much different. I was reading that they actually don't heat their warehouses. So with those cold temperatures, you're going to get a different flavoring in a different way. You know, it's a craft whiskey. So it can't be a straight bourbon whiskey because that would only be made in Kentucky, but it is made just the same way that a lot of the big makers, like Makers and others, do in Kentucky. So I want to give another live sampling of it here. This has a lot of bite to it. You'll remember this one. I don't know if all the rest are like this. What's cool about this single barrel is it can taste different from other barrels without being blended. But there's definitely a lot of spice. I like that. Not as much fruit as you might taste in other bourbons, but it's a great one nonetheless. I've mixed this with a couple of old fashions also, but I really prefer a good bourbon, just neat, just drinking it straight out of the glass, room temp, no ice, no mixes. Something that goes really great with bourbon and whiskey is blues music. We're all about the blues too. One of the first artists that I ever got into really listening to a lot of blues was a flea market find many years ago when I was mostly listening to metal and hardcore, but somehow I got really hooked on the sound of Buddy Guy. This is his '68 album, Left My Blues in San Francisco. He's actually a Louisiana guy, but he's well known for the Chicago blues sound, the electric blues. He's got a really smooth blues, really great guitar pace, really smooth voice, and he's still kicking. He's still making albums. This is his brand new album coming out tomorrow. The blues is alive and well. So I don't know if he was more inspired by maybe recent things that have been going on in the world to make a new blues album, or he just loves playing the blues and made a new album. What's cool is there are some features from, or appearances, I mean, from Mick Jagger and Keith Richards. Also, we've got Jeff Beck and James Bay. So there's some classic older guys who've covered a lot of blues songs playing with him, and a younger guy. So definitely recommend checking that out. It was really cool to see him the other night on that David Letterman, like the Netflix live thing, or special that he's doing. And he did a little interview and had Buddy Guy play with the Paul Schaefer Band on Dave Letterman's show. So that was really cool to see him. Again, it's strange that he's a Louisiana guy known for Chicago blues, but this album is called Left My Blues in San Francisco. That's just where I picked up. There's a lot of other great blues artists that I've been getting into. So please keep checking out our record collection every week as we get new stuff in. This is another one from a classic album. This is Nas, Illmatic, live from the Kennedy Center. Great packaging. It's a great classic hip-hop album. Nas is one of the, most well-known hip-hop artists and has been, sampled by and, given homage to by tons of other rappers in the business. This album is a lot different, though. The packaging is amazing on it. It's so cool to hear this album being done with a big, huge, full orchestra. An album you know so well, of course, New York State of Mind and stuff like that. Nas is just as cool as ever. He's definitely been around for quite a while doing it. The packaging is amazing, though. It comes with a double LP set with a gold embossing on it and a big, huge, full-size poster of him inside that historic theater. It is a full-size poster, too. Try to open it up for you without crinkling it. It's double-sided, too, so you can pick whichever image you want to hang up or keep with your album. It does come with a download too. The other double LP part comes with a really cool, just the packaging of these albums is so cool. The second part of the LP opens up and there's photos of the sold out show at the venue. But one of the big photos that I really like in this is the shot of the whole orchestra and the setup of the backdrop. Just looks like it would have been a really awesome show. So cool to hear an album again that you know so well being done totally differently with a huge orchestra, all the strings and the horns. Give us some thumbs up if you're a Nas fan. This actually came out on Record Store Day. It's a limited version. Somehow we were able to get a few more in. I thought it was sold out, so you never know. It's going to show up every week here. For next one, I'm going to go in a totally different direction with some King Diamond. This is some crazy classic metal, 80s metal from the leader of Merciful Fate. You might know him just from seeing pictures of him. That's King Diamond. There's another picture disc with him on it. But this is their classic album. I picked this one, although they've released several of them here just this week. Abigail is like one of the most classic, they call it black metal because it's kind of like a very darker sound. This is like a story album. It's got a whole kind of eerie story that goes with it. It's about a couple that are warned by spirits not to move into a mansion, in the 1800s or something. So I don't really get into the whole story of it, but I love the sound of it with his crazy high and low vocals and thrashing guitar. This band really, if you haven't listened to them, they don't sound any heavier than classics like Judas Priest or Iron Maiden. But with all the imagery and stuff going with it, people assume it's going to be much heavier or darker. But I think they even have influence all the way up to bands like Guns N' Roses with their kind of metal sound and that high vocal. So I'm just going to show off a couple more of the picture discs that came out from this series. Abigail, like I said, that's I think a 1987 album. There's Conspiracy, The Eye. All of these are double-sided picture discs. I guess they're only limited. They're coming out on Metal Blade Records, and there's only 2,000 copies being released worldwide. And we'll leave you with one more picture disc from King Diamond. So my next album here that we're featuring this week is a new release, but from an older artist. This is from Hawkwind. On the sticker little label here, it does tell you that there's only 500 copies that were pressed on clear vinyl. And this is a live performance also. It comes in this really cool cloth, screen printed, collectible art bag, tote bag, whatever you want to call it. And then there's pictures of Hawkwind that I've never seen before. This is from Live in England 1972. I guess one thing I could say about Hawkwind is a lot of people know them as the pioneers of space rock. I mean, they're like psychedelic rock, but they had synthesizer and saxophone, and they were just kind of very heavy rock, especially for that time. Different than like Black Sabbath, let's say, but their topics dealt more on space and psychedelic subjects. A lot of people also know them because in their early days, they actually had this guy playing bass for them and doing some vocals. That is Lemmy. Leave some comments if you already knew that. I would love to know how many people just heard about Hawkwind and just found out that that's Lemmy from Motorhead's first band before he was in that band. So this is like a way different sound than Motorhead, though. It's heavy, but it's, you know, a lot more psychedelic. This is a really cool gatefold with pictures of the live shows. Space rock, psychedelic rock, whatever you want to call it, double LP on clear vinyl. They even had a guy who did vocals per se, or more like the victim of sonic attack is well known. He's like screaming weird poetry about a sonic attack from aliens in the middle of the rest of the band, just jamming this repetitive long jam. And he's talking about what's going to happen when the aliens come and all kinds of crazy things that are going to happen. And it's pretty far out. You know, it's definitely, they're an English band, so they were doing something totally different than, you know, the hippies on the west coast of California or something like that. This one has gratuitous amounts of pictures of Lemmy in it, too, in the artwork, pictures I've never seen of him or of the band playing. They must have been a very loud band. The recording sounds really great, though, but they have tons of stacks of guitars. They must have had 6 or 7 people in the band. Looks like they were getting really carried away with the live show and dressing up. King Diamond did a lot of crazy live shows, too, a lot of storytelling with his shows. So that's Hawkwind, another one of my favorite bands of all time. These are all available at Culture Shock, by the way. Not this Buddy Guy one, not that old one. That's my original. I just had to show that off. I guess we've already gone through 4 albums, so I'm going to get to what's in the bag. This is a holy grail that actually I pulled from the Culture Shock Rarities crate to show off. Speaking of, talking about some West Coast psych a second ago, this is the band Love. What's really cool about this band is they're one of the first psychedelic bands anywhere, really, to be signed to a major label. They started recording this in '65, so that's many years before the whole Woodstock blow-up of all the hippies and psychedelic stuff. Their sound is a little more folk rock, a little psychedelic, but very influential to lots of bands. They were even really just copied straight up by bands like Moody Blues and really early Pink Floyd, but they were really influential to bands like Jimi Hendrix and The Doors and dozens of other bands. The problem, though, is it is really one of the first well-known psych albums signed to a major label. Elektra Records was actually just doing more light stuff and folk bands, you know, mostly. They didn't have any rock and roll bands yet. These guys actually got signed before The Doors got signed to Elektra Records, so they kind of beat them to that. This is the first press, 1966, and it's the mono pressing. At the time, there were still mono and stereo recordings, so that makes this a little bit more of an extra holy grail. To me, what makes a good holy grail is to have the original inserts, a decent jacket, which isn't the most important thing, but really clean vinyl, something that old. You want to make sure it will play well. That's the first press Elektra Gold label. I love the Elektra inner sleeves of this era. There's just something kind of trippy looking about them with the repeated E's from the Elektra label. This band too, they did like a cover of My Little Red Book. I love that. It's got a really kind of more upbeat, kind of folky, casual rock to it. They also did a cover of Hey Joe, which ended up being covered by The Leaves, The Byrds, Jimi Hendrix, tons of other bands. Another special thing about Love, or in the store right now at Culture Shock, is something that just came out on Record Store Day. Arthur Lee, the singer of Love, who kind of pioneered their sound, they did highlights from their live recordings from 1970 to 2004. This is a double LP compilation album that came out on Record Store Day here a couple months ago. I noticed we still have 1 copy left at Culture Shock, so I thought I would show that off a little bit. So that's the band Love. I mean, please check out these bands if you want to. We're going to work on putting together a little playlist if you want to kind of just sample them online. Again, you can come in and check out some records. There's going to be a lot of sales going on, too, this Saturday at Culture Shock's birthday number 12 party. We're going to have live music and drinks and stuff, too, going on. We're doing a gift card giveaway, right? A $100 gift card giveaway too. And we're giving away, we're raffling off 2 Riot Fest tickets. Some crazy amount of bands playing that. So yeah, let me get a little more whiskey here. I think this is going to be gone tonight. So sad. Single barrel of that. We have some more to sample in our upcoming weeks. Again, we're going to be doing Vinyl Happy Hour every Thursday night. Please tune in, watch the replay, whatever you can do. If you're watching us still, just say hi in the comments below, or on replays, just type R.
Let us know what time.
Oh, yeah. We did our other Vinyl Happy Hour episodes at, 6 o'clock, right? Tonight we're doing it at 8. I think next week we're going to try a different time. We wanted people to let us know what time works good for you. And we're going to, stick to it and keep doing it every week. So, and again, keep your comments coming in too. We really want to hear what you have to say. We're doing the live videos, going to be on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. You can go to the Culture Shock channel, Culture Shock Clothing and Records on YouTube, and find our other episodes if you want to rewatch those, or live performances from bands and things we've had at the store. So we'd love for you to check out some of those videos too and tell us what you think about it. And yeah, I think that's about all I've got. We gotta go to Mary's place now and support some more local or live music. We're gonna go see Ian Moore, get some more whiskey down there at Mary's place too, probably. So until next week, guys. Hopefully we'll see you at our anniversary this weekend. Cheers! Thanks so much. That gets better with every sip.